Hello, this video is the second in a series of 4 videos on Goldratt's Rules of Flow in Project Management. In 1997, Leo Goldratt published a book on the critical chain project management method, the project management component of the theory of constraints, and in 2023, his daughter, Efrat Goldratt-Ashlag, published the book Goldratt's Rules of Flow, the Principles of the Goal Applied to Projects. This work extends Leo Goldratt's original concepts, refining them with 25 years of feedback of implementing the critical chain approach. This book proposes 8 rules that can accelerate the flow of projects in your organization and which I will develop in this series of 4 videos with 2 rules per video. In the first video, I covered 2 rules, reducing bad multitasking and ensuring full kit. Now let's move on to the third rule of flow that can increase the throughput of your projects in your organization. It involves triage, or work to ensure you are working on the right common priorities. When I meet with my clients, one of the first questions I ask them is, what are your priority projects? And today, I'm less and less surprised when each person presents a different list of priorities. There will be the priorities of the boss, the priorities of the research and development department, the priorities of production, the priorities of the sales department. In fact, there are often so many different priority lists, we regularly find 4 to 6 different lists, that every item can be assumed to be a priority in somebody's list. And when everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. The goal is simple, to be transparent enough at all levels to focus teams on the real priorities, and to focus individuals on the high value projects and not to spread them too thin over a multitude of different projects. While the goal is simple, its execution can prove to be more complicated. This sometimes requires stopping one or more projects that are no longer of interest to the company. And the most telling case we had was in a company doing engineering to order for the oil industry. The number of projects had become excessive and the priorities among projects were not clear to the teams. The solution was to define with the sales team the order of the priorities of the client orders and then publish this list and eliminate all the other lists. For the other items that were not considered a priority, it was necessary to freeze them in order to temporarily maintain a reasonable level of work in progress. People were not allowed to work on frozen projects. While freezing cases might seem daunting, it has very beneficial consequences for the entire project portfolio. This subject is also covered by the novel Be Fast or Be Gone by Andreas Scherer. In the second part of his book, which deals with managing a pharmaceutical product development portfolio, to increase the throughput of projects, it is necessary to freeze or stop some projects. The fourth rule is to ensure synchronization between your tasks, people or resources. In many projects, there's a waste of time when switching from one task to another. The individuals responsible for performing 2 consecutive activities are not available for what I term the handover. How often in your projects does an issue get stuck in limbo? Or does it wait 1 or 2 weeks in an email box to be addressed? What we recommend in marriage consulting is to treat activities as if they were a relay race, to notify the relevant parties in advance that an activity is about to come into their domain. And, where possible, we even suggest having a physical mascot that moves from office to office following the critical chain of tasks. Consider the case of a company that was developing antibiotics for animals. We introduced the role of the mascot to the project team, and the next day the project manager returned with a mascot, a big pink plastic pig, since they were developing a drug for pigs. This remarkable object went from one desk to another, and in a simple way everybody could see who was working on the critical element of the project. Many of our clients have adopted this solution, often with fun and unusual mascots. The mascot's role is significant, but another equally important aspect is the frequency of project updates. Indeed, to ensure proper synchronization, it's necessary to regularly bring the team together to check what the priorities are and what the conflicts are. This is true for managing individual projects or project portfolios. That's why we advocate frequent updates, from daily updates to weekly updates, depending on the project type and duration. Here is feedback from one of our clients on this subject.
With critical chain, what we found was that the ways of working and the fever chart gave us that information much more frequently, and probably this is one of the other benefits that we saw was the cadence of the process. So we historically had a monthly project meeting process, and with critical chain we moved that to a weekly, twice weekly process. So we'd meet on a Monday to set the requirements for that week, the task list for that week, and bring the team together to review that and agree those deliverables with the team. And then on a Friday, we'd come back together to look at what's been delivered during that week. And if it hadn't been delivered, how much more time the team needed to do that delivery, and then ask them what help they needed. So So every week, then we would get a fever chart that showed the progress on the project, and that's really helped the project team in terms of both their visibility on the project, but both motivationally to understand how they're contributing and progressing the project.
I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. Thank you for your time.